Hello there. And we are going right into this. Without further ado, let us begin. Today, my name is Professor Rich, and today we are talking about fun conversation questions. We're going to discuss some interesting questions, learn the principles of interesting questions, and make your own interesting questions. So we're not only talking about learning English, we're talking about how to be a more interesting person. Okay, so yes, we're going to talk today about interesting questions and how to make interesting questions. Thank you very much for joining me. Make sure you smash that like button. Say hello in the chat. Let's see who we got here. Hello, Nguyen Zinkian. Nice to see you. Hello, Plavi. You made it this time. Pavia. She's staying late. That's brilliant. What do we do here after tedious conditional class? Uh-oh. Julie Katata says hello, everyone. Romelia says hi again. Marta says buenos dias. Buenos días, Profesor Rich. ¿Y qué tal las patatas bravas? ¿Te gusta o no? Okay. Hi there, Anawat. Hello, Zoya. Hind, hello. How are you? And Franco Ferrari, hello. Hello. 100. Smash that like button. Today we are talking about interesting questions in conversation. So, I am going to ask some interesting conversations. I will ask you those questions. I'm going to ask you some interesting questions in the chat. And I want you to answer the questions. All right, number one. If you could instantly master any hobby, what would it be and why? If you could instantly master any hobby, what would it be and why? If you could instantly master any hobby, what would it be and why? You know, some people say master instead of master. But if you could instantly master any hobby, what would it be and why? Quite interesting to use the word hobby instead of skill, isn't it? If you could instantly master any hobby, what would it be and why? Ooh. Here we have a master. Let's see what we have here. Pallavi says, I'm eager to see the questions. Domenico LaFauci says, Rich, I'm afraid I've got to go, but I may watch this video later. Watch it later and join our conversation club. We have a conversation club today in 1 hour, free conversation class. Nguyen says, I dance, because that'd be so cool. Romelia says the British accent, because I want to be British. I want water. I want to speak like I'm British. You don't have to say British. Some people say British. I prefer British myself. Zoya says, speaking 10 languages, because I like learning languages. Yeah, but Zoya, if you like learning languages, then why would you instantly master it? Because if you instantly master it, you don't need to learn it, do you? Pavia says, I think it'd be reading for everyone, because it's about our personal interest. Ooh. Oh, my glottal stop is adorable. All right. How's it going? Glottal stop in it. Right then. Moving on. Question number 2. Are you ready? Is learning English a hobby? It can be, but many things can be a hobby. Let's talk about question 2. Question 2. Listen. If you had the power to rewrite the ending of the last book you read, what changes would you make? If you had the power to rewrite the ending of the last book you read, what changes would you make? If you had the power to rewrite the ending of the last book you read, what changes would you make? Nguyen Ding Kien says, I'd instantly master dancing because then that'd be so cool. I was about to say, and then I'd get all the ladies, except I just remembered that the name Nguyen can also be a girl's name in Vietnam. So I don't know if you are if you want ladies or not ladies. Pepper, hello, little sausage. Yes, my little Pepper. Come and say hello. Come and say hello. Hello. Hello, Pepper. Say hello, Pepper. Say hello, Pepper. Say hello, Pepper. Come on, Pepper. Say hello. Okay, don't say hello. Oh, Tess of the D'Urbervilles. I changed the fate of Tess of the D'Urbervilles. Very good. So we just got one answer there from Remelia. Although Hind has just answered the first question. I would choose to instantly master knitting because it's helpful and it reduces distractions. Kien. Okay, Kien. Yeah. I lived in Vietnam, you know. And I have other connections to Vietnam as well. Robinson, hello again. Hello there, Robinson. All right, next question. If you had to pick a quote to be displayed in every town centre, what would it be? If you had to pick a quote to be displayed in every town centre, what would it be? If you had to pick a quote to be displayed in every town centre, what would it be, Pepper? What would it be, Pepper? What would it be? What would it be? Coochie, coochie, coochie. Coochie, coochie, coochie. All right. Okay, go on then. If you had to pick a quote to be displayed in every town, I don't like this in every town centre around the world, what would it be? A quote. A quote to be displayed in every town centre around the world. What do you think? What have we got here? Do you have a favourite quote that you want to display around town centres? Zoya says, God is love. If I had to pick a quote to be displayed in every town centre around the world, I'd choose God is love. Okay. Pavia says, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Nice. Nguyen says, you reap what you grow. So actually in English we say you reap what you sow. Pallavi says, my mind is very slow at thinking in English. Pallavi, that's natural. It takes practice. I learnt Spanish, remember. I know it's frustrating. Just keep going. Keep going. Ashley Chen, answering question 2, said, if I had the power to rewrite the ending of the last book, I would keep the villains alive. Interesting. All right, next question. Question 4. If you could send a letter to your childhood self, what would you write? If you could send a letter to yourself in the past, what would you write? If you could send a letter to yourself in the past, what would you write? And by the way, some people write letters to their future. In fact, some people buy themselves presents in the future. You ever done that? Marta, for number 3, says, "This is your city. Keep it clean." Is that a quote, Marta? Sounds just like a warning or a sign. Kian says, "Learn English as soon as possible." Okay. Don't ever skip English class. Oh my God. There's more to life than English, guys. I know I'm an English teacher. I shouldn't say that, but there is more to life than English. Hey? English is fun, but there's more as well. I would say, don't get married until you're 40. Don't worry so much. Life is beautiful. It doesn't work though, does it, Zoya? Like, I know it's a great thing to say to yourself, but, you know, everyone says don't worry. You can't just not worry though. How do you not worry? Answers in the chat. How do you not worry? Okay, 5th and final question. If you had the power to mobilize the world around one social issue, which would it be? So, if you had the power to make people care about one social issue in the world, what issue would it be? Plavi said she would send a letter to herself and write the mistakes I made and that I should start learning English in school. Julia Qatar says, I would write a letter to my childhood self that you will go a long way, do well, and do a great job. Hind would write a letter to himself and say, be nice to yourself. And Ashley Chen would say, you should learn English earlier and study abroad. Pavia says, dear past self, I miss you dreadfully. I wish I could go back in time and be loved by everybody. I know what you mean. I also get quite nostalgic when I think about the past. And I often feel like I want to go back in time, even though some of those times were quite sad. But, you know, you just feel that nostalgia. So Nguyen, for number 5, says the wealth gap. So many people can't afford the internet. Really? I think most people do have the internet now, no? Even in, you know, India, China, Vietnam. I see lots of people with smartphones now in Vietnam. Ten seconds to give your answer to these questions. If you have any other answers to say or to talk about. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pallavi says I didn't get the question. The question means... if you could make one social issue something that everyone wants to help with, a social issue, then what would it be? So if there's a social issue you care about and you can make it important for everyone. So Zoya says eliminating poverty. That's pretty good. And actually, we're on course to eliminate poverty. Poverty will be eliminated probably in the next 10 years. Pavia says rights for equality. Maybe talking about specific countries, since actually in many Western countries the rights are completely equal. There's no mention of gender or race in the law. If I had the owner, I would stop the dispute between nations. That's difficult. Yeah, gender discrimination. I mean, that's different, isn't it? Yeah, that's definitely a different issue than rights for equality. Participate in volunteer activities to help poor people. That's interesting, Lisa. Yeah. So you would make people care about helping poor people. Yeah, that would make an interesting world, wouldn't it? Make everyone very compassionate. All right, everybody, well done. So we're going to move on. Now I have a question for you. Thinking about those questions, we had those lovely questions. I want to ask you, which question was your favorite and why? So just talking about the question, which question was your favorite and why? Which question was your favorite and why? Yeah, I know what you mean, Pavia, but also it's a question of freedom, isn't it? There's a quote from a film called Demolition Man. It's a cheesy action film with Sylvester Stallone, and there's a quote which says, "You can't take away people's freedom to be an asshole." And I quite like that, because I think either you have freedom or you have your world where all the rules are perfect. And if you have the world where all the rules are perfect, then I think you have to take the freedom. So as annoying it is to have occasionally people doing bad things or saying bad things, it is also an expression of freedom that is a possibility. And the only way to eliminate that is to take away that freedom. So Pavia really likes the quote to be displayed in town centres. Very good. What's cheesy British? Oh, the quote. Yes, okay. So there's quite a lot of people like the quote. Kian likes talking to your past self. Traveling Around says, I can't understand you very well. So I often speak quite advanced on this channel because many of the students in chat have quite a high level. So don't worry if you can't understand everything. Just try to follow and make a note of any interesting things that you find. Julia says, my favorite question is getting rid of poverty. That wasn't a question. So you mean it was the social issue? You like the question about social issue, Julia. Right. Very good. I want to give you some advice about making interesting questions. I am gonna give you 4 pieces of advice about making interesting questions. 5 pieces, sorry. I'm going to read 5 pieces of advice. I want you to listen and then write the words you hear in chat. But not yet, just listen. Okay? Listen. Okay. Number 1. Use current events or pop culture. Number 2. Create hypothetical situations. Number 3. Use open-ended questions. Number 4. Ask for stories, not facts. And number 5. Use personal growth questions. Again, use current events or pop culture. Create hypothetical situations. Use open-ended questions. Ask for stories, not facts. And finally, use personal growth questions. Right, so what can you remember here? What are the missing words? Nice notes from Zoya. I like that way of taking notes where you write down the key phrases you hear. Pure Care says, which colour your palm? What do you mean? Didn't think I'd be so tired today, but I'm just really feeling, suddenly I just feel like, oh my God, I'm so tired. All right, well done, Pavia. She's killing it. Ashley, good job. Kian, good. Pure Care, yes. Pallavi, yes. I know that's good. Yes, looking good. Another 10 seconds. Right. So what do you think about this advice? Look at the pieces of advice. There's 5. Does this make sense? Do you have any questions? Which piece of advice do you think is the best? Which piece of advice do you think is the best? Pallavi says, what is pop culture? It just means like celebrities and fashion and what people are talking about. That's pop culture. It's like popular stuff. What's popular? TikTok, Instagram. Celebrities. Zoya likes use personal growth questions. Why do you like that? Hey everybody, do remember to smash that like button. Smash the like button. Please smash that like button. Comment down below. Can you explain what personal growth is? Is it like telling a story about yourself? No. Personal growth is a question about how to be better. Like if you could change one thing in your life to be more positive, what would you do? Or if you had one dream you wish you could achieve, what would it be and how would you achieve it? So it's like a personal development, a question to kind of get your mind thinking about personal development. Here's a question. What would your ideal wife be like? Or your ideal husband? That's kind of a personal growth question as well, because it's making you think about your objectives and goals in life. Ashley Chen likes current events. Current events is a very popular topic, especially when kind of you're first talking with a stranger. People often talk about current events. It helps to break the ice, as they say. Larvi says, can you explain 3? Yeah, of course. So open-ended questions are questions that use a WH word that require some explanation, like what, where, when, why, how long, how much. They're WH questions, whereas closed questions are questions like do you, can you, would you. Okay, and we call these closed questions because you can answer those questions with a yes or no answer. So these are closed questions. Do you, can you, would you? Versus open questions. Pavia says, I'd recommend using hypothetical situations because they can aid in the exploration of possibilities, critical thinking, decision-making, improved understanding, and risk-free experimentation. Really? Risk-free experimentation? Maybe. I like that, Julia. If I had understood more facts about the economic recession, I would have taken this opportunity to become an entrepreneur. So Kian says, ask for stories is good because people love to tell and listen to stories. Yeah, it's an interesting one, that, isn't it? Facts are boring, but stories are interesting. You know, what's a fact? What do you do? What's your job? That's a fact, right? What's your job? I'm a teacher. But here's a story. How did you become a teacher? It's a much better question, isn't it? What inspired you to become a teacher? Don't you agree with the risk-free experimentation option? Is it risk-free? I think you can still have some spicy hypotheticals, Pavia. What would you do if you were at a party and everyone started taking their clothes off? Maybe it's risk-free. Right. I want you to use the advice to make some questions. So please, could you write your questions in the chat and answer the questions using the username of the person. So here's the advice. Use the advice to write questions. So I'm going to say, what story? What genre of story would you write if you had yourself as the main character? Thank you, Julia. Why don't you become a priest? What? Who? What are you talking about, Pierre? Who should become a priest and why? So, in 30 minutes' time, by the way, I will have conversation classes. I will post the information for that in the chat. Today is free. And we will be continuing with the questions that we've discussed today. And that's 1 hour of conversation. So I'm looking for you guys to make some interesting questions now. So write your lovely questions in the chat and let's have a discussion about them. Well, Zoya, that's life, you know. I'm tired. Okay. I made a commitment that I would do Conversation Club 3 p.m. UK. So that is what I will do. And we will have some Conversation Club. It's 1 hour. A nice chance to speak some English with other people around the world. Last time we had 11 students come. It was very good. So, if I wrote a story with myself as the main character, I would write either science fiction or fantasy. Probably fantasy. Yeah, it's Zoom. So yeah, we use Zoom. Robinson says, I've got to hit the gym. Cool. Yes, hitting the gym is good. Pavia says, I would choose a speculative fiction, specifically a combination of fantasy and fiction. Interesting. I've not heard of a speculative fiction before. Sounds good. All right. Well, this is teaching me that people don't have the energy to create questions right now. Pallavi says, teacher, what do you do in your free time? I play video games. Shaikh says, hello, Sir Rich. Hello, Sir Arif. Vladimir said, I would write a fantastic comedy genre. Nice. Comedy's good, right? I would love my life to be a comedy. Unfortunately, it's more like a tragedy. But it would be nice. It would be nice if it were a comedy. Julia says, if I had myself as the main character, I would write action genre because it gives you gripping and thrilling feelings. All right. So Julia's some sort of action hero. I get it. All right, everybody. We're moving on now. We've got moving on to question time. Do you have any questions about learning English or about the lesson today? You can ask me now, and I'll try to answer. These can be on any topic that you want. You can, of course, download the notes from today. Pavia, you're confusing me with your similar names. From now on, I'm going to call you Pavia 1 and Pavia 2. Gingy, don't complain. Gingy, come here. Ginger. Julia's doing a great job there. You want promotion to be a mod, Julia? You're doing the right thing. I'm looking for mods on the channel. Ashley Chen says, imagine one day you wake up and everyone disappeared. What would you do? Just your friends or everyone? So only your friends disappear or everyone in the world disappears? Because that's different, isn't it? So is it like everyone you know disappears, or absolutely everyone in the world disappears? Ginger! 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 Come on! Ginger! 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 Oi, obey me, cat. Ginger! Damn it. Daniele Peschi says, Prof, have you ever been in Italy? Mamma mia, yes I have. I have been to Rome, Milan, twice, and Bergamo. So I've been to Italy 4 times, which is amazing. Yeah. Rome, Milan, and Bergamo. I've never been to the south, apart from Rome, if you include Rome as the south. Anawat says, did you hear that Gen Z has a problem with the full stop in texting? Everyone has a problem with the full stop in texting. Rich, you've mentioned that risk-free experimentation is not an ideal option in a hypothetical situation. Can you explain it why? Oh, God. Risk-free experimentation. So, my understanding, Pavia, was you were saying that hypothetical allows for risk-free experimentation. Whereas I wanted to point out that nothing is risk-free. Nothing is risk-free, even hypothetical questions. Because you could ask an offensive hypothetical question. That's not risk-free. Communication itself always has some risk. So that's why I don't think it's risk-free. I think a better way to say it would be a limited risk or a mitigation of risk. So Ashley Chen says everyone in the world disappears. All right, if everyone in the world disappeared, then I would... That is a really difficult question. What would you do if everyone in the world disappeared? Well, I'd like ask the aliens where everyone's gone. Be like, yo, aliens, where did everybody go? Do you know Italian or some words? No, not really, Daniele. What do I know? Grazie. I know Spanish, so if someone speaks Italian, I can understand some words. Funzione. El gabierno. Do you want to say el gabierno? I don't know. I just use Spanish words in an Italian accent. Sir, your Italian is good. I don't speak Italian. Pallavi says I talked to an AI on Skype. AI never become anyone's friend, but when I said I'm a robot, the AI talks very friendly with me. Nice. Nipa says, did you like London Eye? I've never been to London Eye, Nipa. I've never, ever been. I don't like London. It's not my cup of tea. Ibrahim says, could you explain the expression just happen to have? And when do we use it? Just happen to have. I just happened to have. I just so happen to have a pen right here. It's like a way of saying, surprise, I've got this thing, right? So it's like, oh, if you had a hammer, I could fix your shelves. And you go, I just so happen to have a hammer right here. Oh, okay. Pavia likes talking to my character in character.ai. Does anyone else in chat know what Pavia is talking about? So I made a character, an AI bot. Professor Rich AI. He can give you some excellent advice for learning English. Apparently he's a Viking king. Really? Did he tell you that? Did he say that? I'm going to ask him now if he's a Viking king. That would be cool. I wish. Sadly, as a historian, I can inform you that Viking kings were all Scandinavian, and I don't share my origins with them. However, I do really enjoy their history. That's pretty accurate. That's pretty much what I would say. So yeah, you can speak with Prof. Rich bot on character.ai. Link is in the chat. Shaikh says, Pavia, are you Mexican? Cinco. El 5 de mayo. El 5 de mayo. En el 5 de mayo del Congreso Mexicano 1996, todos éramos muy extraños. Okay. Don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Pallavi, it's really good to experiment talking to AI because it will be useful in the future. And the more you talk to it, the more you will realize the limitations of AI. Right, everybody, I think we're wrapping up because I would like a 10-minute break before Conversation Club. So make sure you join our English Learners chat. You can join that on Skype. So that's a message chat for English learners. And also, please join our Conversation Club if you want. So that will start in 15 minutes. And yes, we have a 1-hour free conversation class for anyone who can communicate in English. You should have a microphone, a camera if possible, but if you don't have a camera, it's okay. And today we will be talking about some of the interesting conversation questions from today. So that's a free class in person. We'll be doing that. Pavia says, I'll see you later. Enjoy your weekend. Rich has many historical characters associated with his name. Correct. Pallavi says, have a lovely day and bye-bye, everyone. Yes, of course. All right, everybody, thank you very much for coming. Hope to see you at Conversation Club. The link is in the chat. And I'll see you in 15 minutes if you're coming to that. Otherwise, have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely time. Have a lovely everything.